The manufacturing in Central Mass has changed dramatically in terms of employment. In terms of gross domestic product produced, it's gone the opposite way, all right? We have, right now, if you took our gross state product for the Worcester metropolitan area, it's 16.9%, all right? And if you took that, what they refer to as the real GDP in chain dollars, it's like 19%, all right? That's a pretty big section of our economy. And we're one of the few places that we've been able to maintain that type of production. In terms of employment, which I think is more to your question, it's changed and it's going to continue to change. We're a high cost of doing business state. You have to have high value-added products to support people on the payroll. Educated workforce. Okay. Several things have happened, all right? The equipment has gotten much more sophisticated, all right? The demands for technology, because they have moved up the ladder and moved to more high value-added products, all right, require a little bit more in terms of education or skills, all right? What used to be what we refer to as middle skills are now entry level, all right? And that's a big change. And that's compounded by the fact that our educational system hasn't been able to support that. We've done a couple of things in this area here. You got the Technical Vocational High School, and we have Quinsigamond Community College. Quinsigamond Community College has, I think, done an outstanding job and is continuing to do an outstanding job in supporting the manufacturing community. And they have, we had the opportunity to work with Siemens over here, all right? And Siemens provided the schools, through us, the schools in the state, over $722 million in software, $750 million in software, their NX system software. The education in software programming is something that's becoming much more in demand. The business schools, MIT, Harvard, they preach the philosophy of minimizing investments, maximizing return on assets, and so forth. And they did such a good job. We have lost over 70%, approximately 70% of our large manufacturers in the state in the last decade. Large manufacturers, over 1,000 employees. Those were the manufacturers that drove the manufacturing community. They dealt with all of the smaller manufacturers that provide parts and so forth like that. It was a relatively self-contained supply chain. Well, that's gone now, all right? And the only reason we still have some of it left is because it's defense related. And the other change, to answer your question, is that you have a group of small manufacturers left in the state, 91% or so, under 100 employees. As I mentioned before, they're through 3 recessions, all right? They're very conservative, all right? And they've been in business 20 years, and they're not necessarily looking to blaze new trails. They're looking to maximize their company and their returns. So that's just a fact, all right? And we see, when one of the problems we have had is that we haven't had a sufficient amount of startups, new business starts, to offset the contraction. So the result is the remaining manufacturers doing well.